presentations. I do understand that this particular presentation is going to be a little bit different because Ray and I know each other for many years, so we're friends. So it's going to be a little bit more relaxed, but that's all right because it's actually important for me to actually record it and see what's going on out there. I'll listen to all my presentations anyway. But anyways, listen, there are two reasons I wanted to get you on this presentation. One of the reason is, obviously, I wanted to show you the system itself and kind of put the bug in your mind if for any reason for the future you're going to be looking for something very similar, so you know where to go. Okay. The second reason is actually more kind of a I'd say in your face, I guess, because there is obviously an interest, and the interest is I know Ray's business, and I know that he deals heavily with the businesses in the local area as well. As well as having a presence on the internet, and we actually have experience with people putting our programs for small businesses and home office businesses on the internet, and them being pretty popular, or in the stores, as a matter of fact. We typically save about 30 to 50% to our customers on the phone systems, and we provide them with the value that they have not had before. And that is exactly what I wanted to show you. And I just wanted to brainstorm with you guys and see how we can actually move forward. Definitely there is an interest for you as well, simply because if you decide to go ahead and introduce this product to your customers, obviously you're going to be getting a residual check every single month. And obviously more customers you have, more lines you have out there, bigger the checks. I mean, let me put it this way. We have a franchisee, we have a franchise, and the franchise master sells this service kind of as a, he puts us out there as a preferred vendor for the phone lines that they have in the office, because he believes that's what he has as well, and it works very well for him, and I'll show you why. So he makes right around $12,000 a month just on the residual, because there's very close to about, I think there's 140 locations. So altogether, each location is a little bigger than a regular one. So plus he's got some other franchisees, I think another 30 or so. Altogether, he's got pretty close to about like 1,200 seats. We call them seats. If there is a phone, it's called seats. So, and he's making money off all of every single month. So obviously, there is an interest, and obviously there is a way to make money. There is no doubts about that one. So I wanted to show you. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. You guys are in front of the computer. Do you see my screen now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Good.
Pegasus Communications.
Yeah, it's a Pegasus Communication Solution. You're absolutely right. That's us. So there is three very unique things about us that I would like to talk about. First of all, it's redundancy. We're 100% up. Even when your electricity and internet is down, our system is still working, and I'll show you how we actually going to be able to actually provide you with a service, even when you're not, you guys are not up. We have 2 locations, server locations, in 2 separate ends of the country. They're connected. And if one location goes out, it takes 2.7 seconds to back everything up to another location. We have 4 different internet companies that are coming into our servers. We have 4 different central offices, and I'm sure George knows the telephony, so he knows what central office is. And we also have 4 different last mile. Last mile is connection between the central office and the servers. So basically, usually the way it works, you have 2 central offices, or one central office, the 2 internet connections are coming in, and they have only one central, so one last mile that's going in. So basically, it's virtually impossible to get our servers down. The other thing that we do, the capacity for expansion is huge. All our servers are filled only to 75% of its capacity. And once it's actually at 75%, it actually transfers to another server. So that means there's a huge capacity for expanding. And the last thing is customer support. Our customer support here in the United States. So you're not transferred to Delhi. You're not transferred to China or anything like that. We have customer support here. As a matter of fact, I'm on the 2nd floor. They're on the 1st floor. And I am the dedicated sales rep. So if there is any problems at all, I am always here to help you guys out. Okay? So obviously our customer care, they're the ones who are actually taking care of the technical problems. But if it's not resolved, I am the one who actually takes over and makes sure it's all resolved for you. You're always going to have a dedicated person. Make sense so far?
So far, I'm listening, yes.
Okay. The other thing that I wanted to, so I'll get straight to the system now, because I think it's actually a little bit more important. Now, I'm going to show you things based on your business right now. So it's just easier for me because I don't want to go over everything. There's over 150 different features in this system. And this is actually what we call, a portal, a homepage for you guys. So this is a hosted PBX, which means that there is no PBX in your business. You don't have to punch the extensions if you need to extend something. You can do everything online without any problems, and it's going to be activated for you instantly. Very simple. It can be added as long as you have an internet connection. You can plug a new phone, have a new extension, and have everything done. All right. So that's the center of it, and I will show you a few things on it that can actually, believe it or not only provide you with a better communication, but actually make you money, and make you money immediately, believe it or not. So what you're looking at is a home page. Okay, you can see here there's my application, there's the recent transactions. Basically what it is, you can actually go in, take a look at your invoices, and so on and so forth. You can actually go ahead and make payments in here as well. Now, it is very, very easy. Usually people are set up on auto pay, but if for any reason, card change or something like that, you can actually go in here. Plus, for your accounting, people need to see what's going on. You can always go in here and actually go ahead and take a look at the invoices and what payments were made. Very simple, okay? It's all customizable. You can actually go ahead and put it up or down, depending what exactly you want to do. It all depends, how you like it to be laid out for yourself. Okay, you can see what kind of applications actually offered to you. This is a browser plugin. You can dial directly from your computer. It will be transferred to your phone. So if you're making a lot of calls, like I know you, Ray, working out of your home. So with our system, you can actually go ahead and make calls directly from your computer. If you see it in your browser, if you have, let's say, a CRM system in your browser, I have a CRM system in my browser. So all I have to do just basically, and I'll show you how it's done. It's a plugin for any browser. As you can see it right here. Okay. So, and you will be able to actually go ahead and dial directly from your computer, not only on your phone, but also from your computer. And this one is just a shortcut, usually for the computer, for a dashboard. That's usually used by receptionists because on the next screen I'll show you there's certain features that are specifically designed for the receptionist as well. By the way, I did want to mention to you, any kind of messages that you will receive from us as well is also going to be on this page. For some reason, somebody took it out from here, but you will be able to actually see all the messages that are coming directly from you. Let's say Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, or something like that. You will be able to find it here as well. Now, on the right-hand side, you'll see Common Task, which is list of your extensions, list of your phone numbers, and as I mentioned to you before, make a payment. Okay? Do you have any questions about the homepage?
No, not at this point.
Okay, yeah. This is very simple.
Yes.
There's nothing special about this.
We're just listening to the explanation. We don't want to interrupt.
No, guys, listen, I want it to be as interactive as possible. If you guys are interested in something and you want to ask me a question, please don't hesitate to do so, okay? I would appreciate if that happened.
I will tell you, you have to realize I have not been involved with the Ring Central setup or the maintenance of it. George has. So for me, it's more important to listen. But if George has a question, I'm sure he's going to raise it or bring it up and discuss it with you.
Yeah, hold on I apologize. This is the call that I've been waiting for a long time. I apologize. Oh, okay, he already hung up. That's fine. Anyways, I know this guy, so I apologize. God, it started ringing. Anyways, George, if you have any questions about that, please don't hesitate to ask me. If I can't answer for you, I will get the answer and send it over to you. But hopefully I know the system well enough to be able to actually answer to you guys, okay? So the second
so far
thing
everything is very clear.
Yeah, it is a very dry, it is a very cut and dry system. I mean, whatever you're looking for, it's very easy to customize and so on and so forth. So basically, it is a normal thing. As I mentioned to you before, the only thing that in here, I think, a little bit more handy than anything else is this plug-in for dialing directly from your computer, okay? So the second thing, and I'm going to go over it very fast, it's a dashboard, okay? So basically what dashboard does, it gives you the list of all your extensions. It shows you exactly what's going on in your business at this very point. Who is on the phone, who is not on the phone, what is going on, how everything is actually done. It's actually designed specifically for receptionists, because as you can see what kind of voicemails you have. That's the voicemail I just received. Agents that are on the phone, calls that are in the queue, extensions. Not only that, the receptionist is going to be able to see exactly what's going on, who's online, who's not online, who has the voicemail in their voicemail box. They will be able to talk to that person, call them. There's an application right here. I'll show it to you right here, where you're going to be able to actually call that person and or message them saying, "Hey, are you available? I will go ahead and transfer this person." So once the person will answer to you, "Yes, I am available," all the the receptionist will be able to do is basically drag that call and drop it into that extension, and it will ring into that extension. That's how easy it is. Usually, I'm not going to go over it a lot, simply because I don't know if this is something that you guys may use, and also if we're going to be selling this system, hopefully you guys are going to come across very large corporations. But at this point, we're actually talking about small businesses, and we're talking about maybe home-based businesses, basically the majority of the clients. But if you come across across big corporations that are actually going to be very interested in this particular service, we can actually expand on that, and I can actually go ahead and show them exactly how it's all done. Right now, we just don't have enough people in the office for me to actually show you. But here's the agents. You see what's going on in here. There's a calls and queues. Each of those calls can actually going to be dragged and dropped directly into extension, and the phone will ring in that extension, and customers, one of the agents is going to be able to pick it up and actually have a conversation, or you can ask the receptionist to go ahead and drop it into the voicemail, which actually is doable in here as well. Basically, it is a dashboard of everything that's going on in the business, who's on the phone, who's not on the phone, what's going on with those people, and so on and so forth. Very simple. The other thing is voicemail. And you can actually go ahead and drop and see which extensions. This is my extension. I have one voicemail right here. There's 3 ways you can listen to your voicemail. Basically, number 1, it's right here. You can actually listen to your voicemail from this system. Number 2, you can listen on your phone. And number 3, it also comes to your email. All you have to do is just basically set it up, okay? Why would you need something like this? Many times, and I don't know if you have any outside sales or you have a customer support, customer calling in, leaving messages for your agents. Some of the agents are not returning the calls, or there are going to be some calls that maybe those agents are returning, but they don't want you to know about those calls. So you have a full and complete control of what's going on in your business. You can actually see the calls that are coming in. You see who's leaving messages. You can actually listen to those messages as administrator directly from this box. So in many cases, I know in some businesses told me they use this feature quite a bit to see whether their agents are actually returning the calls or not. That's, obviously it's up to any business how to use that particular feature. Apps is very simple. It basically shows you exactly what I already showed you, what applications are available for your use, okay? Services. This is actually where the heart of the whole thing is, okay? As you can see, this is all the phone numbers that we have at this location. They're used for different reasons. Those are standard phone numbers. What I'm going to do right now, with your permission, I will find, just one second. Where's I'm looking for my main phone number because I usually like to show everything on the main phone number. Here we go. This is my phone number, okay? I click on it. As you can see, I can call from here. Do you see this little thing right here?
Yep.
Okay. I can call this number right now. Obviously, I'm not going to call my own number, but I can from here. What it's going to do, it's going to transfer it to the phone. My phone will ring. I push a little button on the phone, and I can actually go ahead and either pick up the receiver, or right now I'm on a hands-free. I can use the hands-free. So obviously. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and click on the link. So it will take me into this phone number. As you can see, there's options in here. So the first option that it will give me, so when this phone rings into your office, that's what it shows. It is very easy to customize what is going to show on somebody's caller ID. You can actually put, for instance, add to it voice over IP in here. And once you save it, that's how it's going to show on the caller ID. I don't want to save anything right now. This is an internal presentation. Internal presentation is a very interesting feature as well. Here's what it does. Let's say you have a few locations, very simple locations. So for each location, you will go ahead and all of those locations are actually transferred to the same receptionist. But receptionist doesn't know from which location it's coming from, which phone number was dialed by a customer. So here we assigned the internal presentation for each location. So let's say this phone number is 913-981-1100, but we also have location in Shawnee Mission, and their number is 01 instead of 1100. So we can actually go ahead and put Shawnee Mission. Okay, so what's going to happen on the caller ID when the receptionist is getting the call? She's going to see the number of the customer that's calling in, and also it's going at the bottom it's going to say Shawnee Mission, which means that that particular customer is calling a Shawnee Mission location. So she can actually pick up the phone and say PCS in Shawnee Mission. So she knows exactly which location the customer is calling. Very simple, okay? So the other thing that we're looking at is auto attendant. So on the auto attendant, so basically what it is, it's a call routing. You go in there and you set up the holidays each year. Once a year, you can set up all the holidays that are actually coming up. And the system is smart enough to know when to go to an auto attendant, okay, if holidays, and there is a certain message on the auto attendant, you can actually go ahead and put that certain message in there. It will be, picked up automatically. You don't even have to do anything. If it's a holiday, you will know that auto attendant is going to go ahead and pick it up, and it's going to provide you with a holiday message. Route 2. So basically what it does, it can route your calls on a certain time frame. Let's say you set up a time frame after 5 o'clock. You don't want to miss any calls. It can actually transfer to somebody's extension. It can transfer to a group of people. You can actually easily set it up. You can transfer it to an auto attendant, or you can transfer it to a mailbox. Anywhere you want to transfer it, or outside number. Let's say you're dedicated. You don't want to miss any calls from anybody, even if it's out of hours, after hours. So all the calls that are coming into your business are going to be transferred to your cell phone number or to your home office. Either way you want to do that. So that will actually going to be set up as well. So that's one of the things. The other one is features. So hold music. This is, believe it or not, this is extremely popular feature. The reason is a lot of customers, I don't know, you probably have a hold music, they're probably giving it to you. We also have some preset options here that you can actually have, but it's very, very often this feature is used for advertising. So you can actually go ahead, and I'll show you a little later. There is a place called Hold the Music. I'm sorry, should be somewhere here. Call recording. It's probably a little bit further. So, but there is a place where you go. It's called Music. Hold options, and in there you can upload 10 megabytes. Any files that you are uploading in this system cannot be more than 10 megabytes. But you can actually upload 10 megabytes file in there with your advertising. Let's say, call PicInk at 123-4567, with any needs for ink and toner, okay? Or, for your office telephone system, okay? Voice over IP telephone system. Call PicInk. PicInk won such and such award. So basically, it can actually, as long as the customer is sitting on hold, you can actually use that for your own advertising. So screen privacy. This is also a very important feature. Majority of the system do have it, but basically you can actually set up and say, if there is no phone number, if it says private number or it says something else on the number that's calling in, like usually telemarketers are using that private number thing, or there is no caller ID at all, we are not going to pick it up. Drop that call. So that's what it's for. And we actually have it set up at Yes as well. So if somebody's calling us and they don't have a caller ID, we're not going to take that call. That's pretty much what it does. Now, every single change that is done on this system is actually recorded right here. So if something changed and something noticed, you will be able to go on each and every page in here and see who made the last change on that. It's kind of a little feature that will allow you to actually handle it a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this real fast, so we don't have to save that. So 911 location. It's basically FCC regulations in the federal law. If you have a different locations, even if you have a certain numbers, all those numbers are transferred directly to this number. And if you're actually calling out 911 to someone, it will actually show them what location the call is coming from. That's a must. But it's all those features that I'm actually showing you right now, they're all included in the price. Okay. I know that RingCentral usually charges for this feature, for that feature. What I'm showing you right now, it's all included in your price. Nobody pays any extra for it. All right. Did any of you wanted to ask something?
So far, it's clear. I have a couple of questions, but after you finish,
sure.
Showing the system, because there's no need to interrupt.
There's what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
you. There's no reason to interrupt you, because so far the interface is clear. I have some questions, but after you finish.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, you can ask me if you want to. That's not going to be a problem. I know where I'm at because it shows me here. So, but now extensions. So basically, what it's going to do is going to show you all the extensions. You can also, here's the extensions, obviously. So let's find. Just want to find my extension. So, because I don't want to, show something on somebody else's extension, but here's my extension. So if we go into my extension, you can customize it any way you want to. You can put my last name in here. It will show you. Sorry, Anthony. It will also show you right here, if I call from my extension, what number is going to come up on your caller ID. 911 location. So if I call from my extension 911, that's where the cops are going to come. Registered. So routing configuration. So basically, if somebody's calling me on my extension, where it's actually forwarded if I'm not picking it up. So, call forward always off for me right now. Do not disturb is obviously off. I can put it on. But if call forward is on, I can actually transfer it to outside number. I can transfer it to another extension, to mailbox, and so on and so forth. There's many options. Then it actually will show you try first. So it basically, it'll give you a substantial amount of extension. Also, it will actually give you this option. This option actually means how many times your phone is going to ring. But that is in seconds. There's one ring every 5 seconds. So basically what you see in here is 4 rings. So it rings 4 times here. Then just like you saw while we were on the phone, it was transferred to my cell phone. Okay. It rang 4 times on my cell phone, and then it went back to my voicemail in my office number. Not in my voicemail on my phone, but in the voicemail in my office number. Because that's when the customers are calling me, that's where I want to go. I wanted to go and keep it there. So all of this, as you can see, it's actually very easily set up, and you can actually set up your own rules where it's going to go and what it's going to do. Obviously, there's also outbound dialing rules, general dialing rules, internal extensions, account codes, feature codes, and so on and so forth, and domestic dialing. How are you going to dial within the United States, whether you want to dial 11 digits or 10 digits, depending on the code where you're at. So voicemail, that's where my voicemail is. you can actually record your message directly from here, or you can do it from the phone. Or, for instance, if you have a special voicemail that you want to record, you can record it again in MP3 file and upload it here. Okay, just depends what your what your choices are. Again, any changes that were made are going to be here. I'll just go ahead and cancel it as well. I don't want to save anything. Internet is slow today. I don't know why. So another thing is on the extensions, it will show you right here which extension is not working or which extension is working. And one of the things that I completely forgot to show you, which is, as you can see, my extension is working right now. But let's say if my extension was red, for instance, what it means to me is either the extension is not working, or let's say something happened. My internet, as well as my electricity went down. So the system is not working at all. Nothing that works here. Well, but the system is smart enough to see the red phone, and it knows that it needs to it needs to transfer that. So you see, there's an if offline where it's going to go. So we can actually go ahead and put the outside number on it. Instead of, right now it's sitting on my voicemail, which is going to be saved as well. If somebody calls, it can go into my voicemail. It's going to be stored on the cloud. When everything comes back, it's going to pop up here. But let's say it's in the middle of the day and you don't want it to go into voicemail. You can actually go ahead and find the outside number and transfer it directly to your cell phone. You can keep it this way. So if everything goes down, let's say, we're in Kansas, I'm in Kansas City here, we get tornadoes every single spring. Okay, very often the electricity and the internet goes down. Well, none of my calls, even if it's during the day and I'm sitting somewhere in the basement trying to hide from tornado, my phone, if somebody's calling me from Florida, for instance, it's going to be transferred directly to my cell phone. So even if your system is completely down, you're still not losing any calls. They're either transferred and stored in your voicemail, or they're actually transferred directly to you. So when I was talking about the redundancy, the chances of our system going down, almost close to zero, unless the whole country actually shuts down. Then I don't think anybody would care. If something fails, we have our servers in two different parts of the country. So if the electricity, like it used to be, remember in New York City when the grid actually came down and the whole New York City was without the electricity? Well, if something like that happens in one part of the country, we have our backup in another part of the country under a different grid. Each of those locations, as I mentioned to you before, have two separate internet providers that are coming in and going out. We have two different central offices for each location and two different, what we call a last mile, which is connection between the central office and the server. Usually, the way it actually works, there is only one last mile, but we actually build out two of them to make it a little bit more reliable. So on our end, for our system, it's virtually impossible to go down. On your end, if everything goes down, your calls are still actually retrieved, which is very important. That's basically something that I completely forgot to show you, and kind of caught it on time, I guess. So the other thing is, this is a mailbox. Again, you can set up your mailbox any way you would like to. On your extension, there is a substantial amount of options for you. It can be actually, but I'm just trying to go through that as fast as possible. Broadcasting, this is actually a very interesting one. So we have a broadcasting. So basically, you will be able to actually leave a message on every single voicemail box in here. You can broadcast it to a certain people. You can broadcast it to a certain groups. You can broadcast it only to sales. You can broadcast it only to the warehouse, and so on and so forth. Or you can broadcast it to everybody. Let's say, tomorrow we're going to have 10 feet of snow. Do not come to work. You can actually go ahead and leave all the messages for a certain group, and it will go to that particular group or to everybody, depending how you want to go ahead and set it up. Auto attendant, I know that RingCentral has a different charge for auto attendant, but it is a very, very popular feature. Auto attendant is included for you guys. You can actually set up your auto attendant any way you want to. You can actually go ahead and set up a new options, set up a new auto attendant. On the auto attendant, as you can see, you can put the name on it. You can put when that particular auto attendant will start working for you, because or stop working for you. And also, you can record via phones on announcements, upload files, put the default recording. We have some default recordings already in there. And you also go ahead and put the buttons configurations. So if somebody actually calling you in a certain time, and let's say you don't have customer service in there, but you do have sales, you can actually transfer those calls to sales instead of the customer service, or the other way around, and so on and so forth. There's literally unlimited amount of options when it comes to auto attendant. You can spend hours just sitting there and setting up different auto attendant, and it will actually allow you to do pretty much anything you can possibly want with your system, and it is the part of the price in here. I know other companies charging a substantial amount of money for auto attendant. With us, it's actually part of the package for you. Obviously, you can also send set up a times for your auto attendant. It is, depending, you want one thing to be done between 8 to 5. You want another thing to be done between 5 o'clock at night until 8 o'clock in the morning. You want a different thing to be done on the weekends. And obviously, you want a different things to be done during the holidays. So you have a substantial amount of options. As I mentioned to you before, you can set up those times as well. While you're doing that, it actually gives you a little blue box. Those are kind of a little, good advice when you're actually setting them up. So all times are represented in Eastern time in here. So this way, you're in Eastern time, so you don't even have to worry about it. But for me personally, I know that if it's 10 o'clock in the morning, your time, it is 9 o'clock in the morning. So I have to set it up, appropriately in here as well. Okay. So ring groups, also very interesting. Ring groups, you can actually go ahead and set up certain groups. Let's say you don't want to leave messages, but you want to call certain people, and you want those people to pick it up. You want to call all the salespeople right now, and you actually go ahead and push the button for that particular group. It gives you like a certain dial that you can dial, and it will actually go ahead and dial 5 extensions, which is 5 extensions of 5 salespeople. And only salespeople will actually go ahead and can put you on a speakerphone or on a headphone, and they can listen to what you need to say to them immediately at this very point. Also, conference bridging. So we have conference bridge option. You can actually go ahead and set up your own conferences. As far as I understand, there's up to 30 people on a conference here. It's one of the features that actually comes with it as well. This is a really good feature, and I like that feature quite a bit. Listen live configuration. Okay, on this particular feature, you can actually go ahead. Let's say, Ray, you have salespeople. You want to know how they're doing over the phone, how they're closing over the phone, how they're doing the follow-up calls. So basically, you can set up yourself as an administrator here, and nobody else. So nobody else can listen to those guys. But you can actually go ahead and put the extension in here that you want to listen to. You can log in and listen to those guys anytime you want. Okay? So basically, to any extension, you can actually go ahead and log in and listen to those guys. And you can listen live to them, to any call. There's also
I would only be listening.
Yeah.
I would only be listening to Elisa Pagasi.
I couldn't hear you. I apologize.
I said I would only be listening to Elisa Pagasi at extension 1803 because her conversations are probably interesting.
Well, listen, I don't know. This is one of the options. Believe it or not, this is a very, very popular option, especially with the companies that actually have salespeople. I understand.
Okay. I understand. Move on.
Yeah. I actually have a guy that owns pizza places, and he actually has that particular option. So he listens how his guys are actually taking the orders, how nice they are with their customers, and so on and so forth. So holidays, as you remember I mentioned to you that you can set up your own holidays every single year. You go in here and set up your holidays for your auto attendant. So once you set them up in here, you add the new holiday in here. It actually picks up by auto attendant immediately, and it actually works accordingly. The system actually has that particular way of actually recognizing immediately. Call recording. You can record any extension you want, and you can actually set up which extension you would like to record. Okay, all inbound calls you can record outbound, or you can record both. So you have that feature available for you. Remember, we talked about the hold music. Okay, hold music. I told you that you can actually upload it here. That's the place where you're actually uploading the hold music, and so on and so forth. One more thing, call blocking. You can unwanted calls, as I mentioned to you before. You have telemarketers that just keep calling you. You will go ahead and block them in here. Okay. On this particular system, you can also block the calls that are going out. Let's say you have an employee that's sitting on the phone for 2 hours talking to her husband or to her boyfriend. You can actually block that number as well, to making that particular person to actually work instead of actually calling them. So that's, those are this is the things that you can actually do in here. Accounting, very easy thing. We already talked about that. You can actually go in here, bring up any kind of invoice, any orders that you actually placed, and you can actually see, what you're billed for, and you can actually go in here and see, when the last payment was made, with what card, and so on and so forth. This is also, so I forgot, there's also an option when I told you about listen in, there's an option of budge in. Okay, there's actually 3 options: listen in, listen and budge, and budge. Okay, basically what it means, when somebody's talking to the customer on the phone, and you want to help your guy out, saying, hey, he's not closing this customer, he needs to close. So basically what you're going to do, you're going to whisper in his ear. You put the code in there, and you whisper in his ear, telling him exactly what needs to be said to that customer at this very point. The customer will not hear you. Only the guy on the phone will. Make sense?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's this is, I gotta tell you, that's very interesting, and I'll tell you why. I used to work with Sprint for a long time ago. I was on the phones, obviously, and back then we had managers sitting behind us, listening to us, and literally whispering in our ear what we needed to say to the customer, because obviously they didn't have that type of option back then. Okay. And they were telling us exactly what we needed to say to a customer, and that's how they trained us. And I got to tell you, that particular training was the most effective training. People were making money within a month. That particular training, this type of training, can actually increase the sales within a month to about 20-30%. At least that was like that for me. I was struggling for 3 months unless they actually had a training like that. At the end of the year, I went to the President's Club for Sprint. That's how they trained. So I can testify to that part, a type of training, but nowadays you can literally get in the call, tell your guy what to say and how to say it, and the customer will not even hear you. Only the guy will. That's pretty cool. So this is another thing for you to make money, believe it or not. Let's just say you guys are doing SEO. So the customers will find your business online through Google, okay? Or you guys are doing some kind of a local marketing, advertising. To get a new number is cheap. I mean, it's like $1.50 a month, okay, to get a new number. Usually a lot of my customers already have that number, and they assign that particular number to marketing, okay? So what I'm just about to show you is actually very simple. It will show you by extension or by number how many calls you can receive from this date to that date. So you can actually see how effective your marketing is. You can actually see whether it makes sense for you to keep investing money in that particular marketing or not. Very simple. So let's say this is the number that we have right now. This is our main number, okay? So, and I can actually go ahead and bring it up from January 1st to January 30th. And I want to go ahead and check only on incoming calls on that particular number, okay? So all I have to do at that point is basically do search. Just 1 second. Give it a second to load. What is it doing?
It's simple. You didn't get any incoming calls.
Say it again.
I said it's simple. You did never see any incoming calls.
Yeah. So here's the calls, but you can go in further than that because you really want to see it in front of you. So what it's going to do right now, it's going to give me by date. It's going to give me the numbers of incoming calls every single day. So you see how effective this thing is or not. So you take that particular number, you see that you received within a week, you received 3 calls. Does it make any sense for you to continue with that advertising or not? Probably not. You can actually go ahead and go back as far as you want, but only 3 months at a time. So if you're doing, for instance, paying a lot of money for like $300 a month for search engine optimization, you can, and you actually on your website, you're putting a certain number, you can actually go back and check it out and make sure how many calls you're getting from that particular advertising or from that particular SEO on that particular number for all your incoming calls, okay? To get a new number specifically designed for that is cheap, okay? Really, really cheap. But this type of reporting will give you really good data for you to make sure that you are actually, distributing your money the right way. So that's one of the things. Or, again, you have salespeople, and you really wanna know whether those salespeople are actually doing a good job or not. You want to know how many calls they're making. You can actually go in here and run it by extension number, and I was going to show it to you too. So basically, you can go outgoing calls, and instead of the phone, you can go extension number, and you can actually find the extension. Let's find. No, I don't want that extension. I don't know whose extension it is, to be honest. Let's say my extension number, okay? And let's say 15 in the last two weeks. So it will give me this information. This is the information, and if I want to see it on the graphs on each day, that'll give me the graph right here, on each day. How many calls were made, when they were made, and so on and so forth. Very, very simple. So, and that's pretty much how it works. Just wanted to show you real fast. I think it's a pretty awesome option that can actually make you money very fast and get rid of the bad employees and so on and so forth. So
okay.
Those are reports.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
I will tell you. First of all, forget the reports and all that stuff. Okay, neither George nor I nor anybody in our organizations is going to go out and demo this system with all the features. We understand it probably has a lot of great features.
Yeah.
Let's just talk. Number one, what does the system cost on a monthly basis, or based on how many calls or whatever? What are the numbers? And then how do we make money if we provide leads for an expert like you to explain the system? Because I'm not going to do it, neither is George.
No, you're not.
Okay?
No, you're not. And I'm not asking you to. Okay? Anybody who has any kind of interest, you basically, what it is to you is actually to have enough marketing material. You have a wholesale price. It's $25 per seat. Seat means extension, a phone. Each extension comes with 2 lines. So this way, when I'm on the phone, and somebody calls in, they might be on hold instead of actually hearing fast busy. They might be transferred directly to my voicemail. So for that, you need 2 lines. It's like a highway, okay? You have a couple of lines. Yeah. So, and it's very simple. Usually that's how it works. The wholesale price for everything that I just showed you included would cost you $25 per seat, okay, per extension. And at that point, let's say if you're coming across somebody with a 200 seats, you want to sell it to them maybe at $30. So you sell them at $30, you're getting back $5 every single month, either for 24 months or 36 months, or actually you're getting it for as long as they're staying with us. I mean, we sign a contract for 24 months or 36 months, but as long as they're staying with us, you're getting paid every single month, residual. That's yours, period, bottom line, okay? Somebody with a smaller one, we can come up with the special offers for them, but usually you would sell it to them at $35 per seat, okay? So if they have 3 extensions or so, it's probably going to cost them about $100. We can actually come up with some kind of a special for those guys. If they already have voice over IP, most likely we can actually go ahead and reprogram their phones so they can have the phones they're using. If they have a landline right now, they will have to buy the equipment. Equipment is really not that expensive, and I got to tell you, with the savings and the amount of features they have, it's worth every single penny. They're probably going to return the money for the phones within 3-4 months. Not easy. And from that point on, it's going to be complete savings every single month, obviously. So
George, how many extensions do we have currently?
Did we lose George? Hello?
I don't know. We may have lost him.
That happens. Listen, after all, he's dialing in from overseas. George? Are you there? Something is breaking up there. I think it's hello? Ray, are you there?
He's calling in. He's calling in again.
Oh, he's calling you? Okay.
No, he's calling in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's calling. Yeah, if he's calling in, we'll wait for him. So, but as I said to you before, it's you find somebody I get them. You tell them, hey, you can actually get online and see my schedule and schedule the presentation yourself, or you can actually go ahead and tell them, hey, Anthony from PCS will call you and set up a presentation. I'll call them up and I'll set up a presentation. I'll show them exactly what's going on with that, what they're getting basically. And most likely I will close them, because I got to tell you, with the smaller accounts, especially the ones that actually have 5 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines, it's not very difficult to close them. Sometimes you might actually negotiate the terms of the contract. Sometimes you might even negotiate a little bit on the pricing, but I got to tell you that if they have 4 lines, for them to pay $120, $130, it's actually cheaper than they're probably paying. Most of them are actually paying pretty close to about $100, $150 for having 1 line and maybe a fax line on that one. So that's it. But for us, it's going to be money-wise, it's not going to be a problem. Yeah, I think George is back. George, are you back?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, very well.
Yes.
Yeah, because I listened to everything, and then when Ray asked me about the extensions, something happened. I don't know, and you guys didn't hear me, so I hung up and called back. So anyway, just to let you know that I heard everything. Now, let me see how many extensions exactly we have with RingCentral, because we don't use them all right now. And I was going to ask about the phones, how much they cost, actually, the actual phones.
Mm-hmm. We like to use Yearling phones. We think those are the most reliable phones on the market right now when it comes to voice over IP. I don't know if you've seen them or not. I can send you the pricing via email. I can send it to Ray, and he's going to go ahead and send it to you. But usually we have 2 types of phone. We have a business, just a regular. Actually, we have 3 types of phone. We have a big phone. Usually we give it to a president, or we give it to a receptionist, so she'll have all this in front of her. And we have a small, phone for the office, for each seat, what we call a seat. And we also have, for a smaller store that need to move around, like a pizza place, for instance, we had a wireless hands-free. Wireless phones, the one that you can actually take anywhere with you. Basically, it comes to you with a base, and you can add as many phones as you want to it if you want to do that way. I have to look up, but the regular phones are actually pretty close to about $200, and the wireless one, I think it's $120. So they're not overly expensive. And with the savings that we can provide them, usually takes probably 3 to 6 months to recoup the cost of the phones, and from that point on, it's savings, period. Because if you go with AT&T today, or if you go with a Spectrum or Time Warner or any of those guys, they're charging you for 2 lines, which is just a regular line, and with the phone number, and maybe with 1 or 2 extensions, you probably will end up paying about $190 for business. For residential, if you have a home office and you need a phone with auto attendant, paying $30, $35 is nothing, literally nothing. All you have to do is just hook up an internet cable to it, and it's done. Because it's a plug and play phones, which means we actually go ahead and program everything you tell us here in the office. When you receive the phone, or you receive those phones in the offices, all you have to do, just basically plug it into your wall, and it's working for you exactly as programmed. Then we give you the access to that particular portal. You can go and change on it on every extension, anything you want. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay, so here is a question. Hypothetically, let's say if we need 7 extensions, okay, and then we also have, just a second, because that was going to be my next question. Okay, 7 extensions. Those have unlimited nationwide minutes, right? Incoming and outgoing.
Unlimited, yeah. Call anywhere
at $25. Okay.
Yes.
At $25. How do we add? How much would it cost to add just like additional phone numbers, which are gonna look into the system? So basically, let's say we have 7 extensions, but we have this phone number that we want to keep, and we just want when people call it, we want this going to our system.
You'll keep the same phone numbers. Those are all transferable. We can transfer any phone number.
I know. No, I understand, but here is the question. Let's say our 7 extensions have 7 numbers. Each extension has a number. However, we have 5 toll-free numbers and let's say 3 additional phone numbers, which are not connected to an extension. They're just phone numbers which are connected to the whole system. How much is the toll-free numbers per month, and how many minutes do they have included in them?
Okay, okay, as I mentioned to you before, you get unlimited minutes on everything. Toll numbers or not toll numbers, doesn't matter. Okay, we take those numbers and we port them here. Okay, number one. Regular numbers, regular numbers are, I think they're like $1.50 a month. Okay. And 800 numbers is, I am not quite sure. I have to look it up. But I am, I'm pretty positive on that. It's like $3.
How many?
So it's $3 for number.
$3 for the number.
Yeah. So what the only thing that it might cost you, it actually costs you to actually port those numbers to another service, because we have to pay money to them to port those. Other than that, that's it.
Okay, and if somebody
whatever you're paying for those numbers is going to be the same thing. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and if somebody calls the toll-free number, there is no limit on how many minutes they spend on it. So let's say if somebody calls our toll-free, if we keep him on hold 24 hours, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Of course, we're not going to do it. Okay. All right. So because we have these phone numbers. Now the next question is, you said for the phones you will send prices to Ray. Those are we cannot reuse our current phones, can we?
You can. Majority of people do.
Oh, okay.
If you have voice over IP phones right now, we will go ahead and reprogram them for you. That's not going to be a problem at all.
Yeah, we've got the RingCentral ones. I don't know if we have access to them, like if we can log into them, but
we can.
I guess. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. And the next question is, what about cell phone apps? For example, right now I'm using RingCentral's cell phone app. Do you guys offer cell phone apps?
Yes, we do. Our cell phone app calls Pegasus. Okay. And from Pegasus, it will work exactly the same as it would work from your, basically it would work from your phone. All the same features and everything else. It's all the same. Okay. So basically, if you are dialing from Pegasus application to your customer, they don't know the difference, because that's the number that pops up on their screen and so on and so forth. It actually has exactly the same thing. I personally, I have that application. I can call from anywhere in the country on the Pegasus, and no customer will ever know that I'm not in my office. Okay. Off your cellular data, obviously.
Yes, I understand. The reason I was asking, of course, you showed you can do it on through the browser. I just wanted to make sure there is an app also. Okay.
Yes,
well, I guess my final question would be, if we decide to switch, just to make sure that everything works, is there any way to set up some kind of a trial where, let's say, we move, we've got some unused numbers, and we can move them over to your system, just make sure everything is working fine and dandy, and then go ahead, during this time we can have a couple people work with the 2 phones on their desk until we, test it out, and then go ahead and switch everything else. if of course we decide to go ahead.
I personally do not. I'm going to have to. I am not a decision maker on that particular part, but I don't see a problem with that. I am pretty sure we will be able. I'll be. I'll talk to my boss, basically CEO of the company, and we can actually set it up for you so you guys can try it out. No problem. I don't think there is.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking is just not, just to complete my questions that I had in my list, because I don't know when our thing expires with RingCentral. I have to check. We need to make plans anyways, but just so we know that if that's an option, that'd be good. But okay, we'll follow up on that. When the time comes. All right. Well, that's about it, because you described the system very, very thoroughly. We would probably, as Ray mentioned, use a fraction of those options. We're not listening to the codes. Very rarely we do training right now. Hopefully in future we will have to do that. But basically we're just looking at the point and click interface. Pick up the phone, dial a number or answer it, and that's it. Transfer a call, voicemail. Oh, and final thing, sorry, my list here. What about faxing? Can we use the system to fax online over through a browser? Let's say if I want to fax a PDF file.
Okay. On this particular system, what we do, we actually set you up with what we call eFax line. It's $20, so it actually has its own number. Obviously, we transport your number. Okay, we take your number and we transport, actually make it ours. And we're gonna go ahead and set you up with the service. It's called eFax. And you will be receiving and sending the faxes from your computer, so you don't even have to have. I mean, as long as you have a printer with a scanner, you're good. So that's all.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the question was, is there an option to do that? The details we don't care. We'll get trained. The question was, is it possible? Okay, perfect. Thanks. Well, that's my list.
Yeah, that's right. Ray, do you have any questions?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how we make money with this. That's my interest. Is this something that we can put together a list of features and try to promote this to some of our customers? That's the sales and marketing portion that I have an interest in. George has an interest how to keep our computer system running. Now, can we put together a program, or do you have something that gives us a chance to market to the people that know us and are willing to listen to the option of maybe going into a new VoIP system?
Okay, now you're talking my language. That's why we like each other, because you're talking my language. You see, all this technical mumbo jumbo, it's just a mumbo jumbo to me. I know all those features, but when it comes to sales and marketing, that's what I like the most about it. And that was basically my main concern about this. I would love to have your business any day. I want your system to be on my system. That enough to be said about that one. But what I'm more interested in is actually using this.
Listen, as long as we save a substantial amount of money, if we have to go through all kinds of stuff, let me finish, and only save $10 a month, I don't know if I'm going to put George through that kind of rigmarole. Okay. But if the savings is substantial from what we're paying RingCentral, if we're looking at a couple $100, I can use that to the customers we have and say, hey, you can put a couple $100 in your pocket each month just by going through and doing this, because come up with a story. And that will create the interest to where somebody will want to listen to the features. And believe me, everything this system does, probably people are going to use only 30% of it. A large corporation may use much more, but nobody goes in and listens to the people and they hush them in their phone. Most of the clients that I know don't do that stuff.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. It's like you buy a car with all these features, and you don't use them. You drive the car from one place to another, put gas in, that's it.
You're absolutely right. But here's the thing. And that's, with you, I tried to show you as much as possible in the system simply because I want you to believe in the system as much as I do, okay? But when I'm talking to a customer, I ask them a lot of questions about their system and what they have right now, and only show them what interests them. For instance, I will go and ask them, hey, what kind of marketing do you do? Do you pay for SEO? Do you do any local marketing? And if they do, I show them how to actually, they can immediately start making money by looking at the return on investment that they're making right now. I also ask them, hey, are you doing the training of your salespeople, if they have salespeople, or customer service people? Yes. Would you like to listen to their calls? Yes. That, you have to understand. I showed you that, and you're probably not going to use it. But the majority of people, especially sales organizations or marketing organizations, are gonna use the hell out of this thing. This is invaluable to them. They can start making money off this system immediately, and that's why I'm asking questions. Now, with you guys, it was a little differently because my main goal was not for you to have this system, even though I would love for you to have this system. My main goal is to sell this system so you will believe in it as much as I do. That's why I did the presentation for you. Make sense? Now, yes. I have marketing material that I can provide with you. And we can discuss how you can actually approach your customers. Whether we're going to be approaching, we have a marketing material that is already ready to go for small businesses that have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, okay? We have specials offers that I can put together for you, send them to you. You can print them out. You can give it to every customer that walks through the doors, or you can send on your emails. You can actually do something in your store for people that come in. For God's sake, if somebody wants to set it up in their home office, you're going to have that. You're going to be making a residual from every single one of those customers. Now, if you decide to approach bigger guys, you can actually go ahead and take the list of all those things that I just talked about, just the list of them. Show them, hey, look what this system does. Hey, I can save you money. Show me what your bill is. I can save you money on that. Once they're interested, basically at that point, I'm going to do the presentation. You're going to be on the presentation with me, and we're going to go ahead and close them on that. Make sense?
Of course.
Yeah. So
send me your marketing.
We can yeah. I can send you samples of the things that we're using right now in some other locations, what they're using to attract the customers, smaller businesses, and I can also send you PDF presentations that you might be able to show to your bigger clients that have 50, 100 lines or extensions.
Because I can, I don't have a Pegasus communication solutions presentation to where I can show them everything that you did. I can only talk about these things. All I need is the hot points. What can it do?
Yes, I have all the hot points. Yeah. Oh, hold on for just a second. Let me go ahead. Let me show you something real fast, okay? I'll show you that. I'm going to put you on hold so you can only see this. So I can actually, and I apologize. I can actually show, I wanted to show you something here. Hold on. What is this? I apologize. I am looking for something because I wanted to show you features. Okay, here we go. I'm going to open it right now, and I'm going to, okay, if you're looking at your computer right now, hold on. Why is this thing? Oh, here we go. Right here. Okay, Can you see this piece of paper? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. It has no pricing on it, but you can see every single what we talked about. You can see all the features. Okay? Do you see all the features? And this is only one example of what I can send to you. But I think this particular piece of marketing material is very important, because you can actually go ahead and approach those guys and say, hey, you're a sales organization. Do you train your people? Okay, I have a system that will allow you to drop in on a call, listen to your guy, whisper in his ear exactly what to say to this customer, and you can do it for a week until your guy gets so well trained on it that you don't have to be on his calls anymore. Maybe record his calls once in a while so you can listen to that, and we can do that for you as well. So, and all this is going to be described in here. Okay? Also, you can tell them, hey, are you doing any kind of marketing? Yeah, I do marketing. Fantastic. Let me go ahead and show you not only how you're going to actually keep track of what your guys are doing on the phone, how many calls they're making, how long those calls are, how long do they keep customers on hold, and if there's any customers that are being dropped while they were on hold. But you can also go ahead and track down all, by phone number, all the marketing campaigns that you are doing right now and see whether those campaigns giving you any good ROI or not.